Welcome to Alive on One, a miniatures-based podcast, currently with a focus on Marvel Crisis Protocol. My name is Jian. I'll be hosting today, along with my special guest and current co-host, Mike Waller. Hey, Mike.
Hello, Jian. How you doing?
Good. It's nice to have you here. This is currently a PRP-focused podcast today. There's no Stevens at all, not as one in sight.
Oh yeah, we're taking over.
We're taking over. All right. So you get to deal with us for this excursion. But we're happy to be here and just catch up on what's some of the current going-ons in MCP world. So first, start off, Alive on One Stories. I recently just played a practice game with one of my locals, running Inhuman still. He was running a Shadowlands Daredevil list into me. And my Gorgon was left alive on one after trying to pick up a middle extract. I thought it was going to be really cool because, like, the next round I was like, all right, he's going to charge. He's going to, kill these grunts, and, get some damage on Encantu. He does absolutely no damage after his charge.
Oh, nice.
So I was like, okay, all right, cool. So he just walks to get onto a wedding party point with Black Belt protecting him, and he's just cowering on his 1 health the entire time. But he did farm me like 2 or 3 rounds of points from there, so I can't complain too badly. So yeah, nothing too crazy for Alive on One this week. How about you, Mike? Anything?
I don't got anything crazy either. The only one that I can remember is I had Strange today, Alive on One 3 times before he actually he didn't even end up flipping, but he just kept healing himself. So he would get Alive on One, heal, Alive on One, heal 3, and just to not go down. He's basically alive on one the whole game, just making his attacks. This is new Strange. This is,
dude. Strange is so good at that, dude.
Yeah. I'm having a lot of fun with him. Honestly, I have to thank Jeff from PRP. He kind of put me on. I mean, I've played Strange before he got the updates. Like when I first got into the game, he was one of the first models I got, and Convocation was my second. I'm sure it was my second affiliation after Webs that I started playing a lot. And I never played with Sexy Strange. It was always OG Doctor Strange, just because I like the healing more. And now that he's updated and playing with him more, I'm having a blast. I feel like I found my love for the model.
Yeah, I think definitely the Strange one makes up for the lack of mobility that like Strange 2's scalping would occur. Instead, he's just you just can't kill him sometimes. You just keep leaving on one and just it's like, oh, guess I'm going to heal 3 health. Yeah, and I'm just going to boost all my defenses. And also he's got one of the most reliable displacements in the game now from an attack.
The reverse pierce on the shield is so thematic. I love it. He gets a power and he's reversing. He's giving you pierce. It's really nice.
It does a lot to sneak that one bit of damage, well, it still is a damage clause push, but who knew that the shield pierce is exactly what he needed.
Yeah, obviously it's not better than a wild, but it's nice that it synergizes. Also, I've noticed when I've been using him, I've been rolling a lot more shields than wilds, so maybe it is a good thing. It's a shield for me at least.
Now, do you think it's because you are taking the Eye of Agamotto reroll and just are fishing for the shields? No,
actually, I haven't been using that reroll a lot. Because I found there's been, when I first was reusing him again, I found that there's times when I would reroll, like say my person block 1 and then I have 2 successes and I'll try to get greedy and I'll just get nothing. Or there's a time today I had a hit and a shield and he was already blocking it, but I was like, I'll get a power, why not reroll? And then I rerolled into blank and didn't even get the shield, so I got no power. I don't know. I found that sometimes it's a little better if I need to displace them instead of trying to get a bigger spike, unless they completely just don't block anything, to just stick with the 1 or 2 damage, then reroll everything. I'd rather get the guaranteed displacement at that point.
Yeah, because that's the thing you're actually looking for, right? You're not really looking for him to spike someone off the board, right?
Yeah. On defense, though, I use it a lot when I'm defending. That is.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, why not, right? Because, defense sides tend to be, worse than usual because, there's just less facings, right, that you get. So, yeah, just having a full reroll, I think, helps that a ton.
Yeah, it is really nice.
Yep. So, yeah, continually reminding folks, if you haven't put new updated Strange 1 on the table, please do. That guy is a baddie.
He is so nice.
All right, so let's see. Hobby catch up. I haven't had anything, but I'm looking at the doc, Mike, and you got a few things here. Let's say
Just a few. I haven't painted at all since like May before Squaggles because of work, vacation, and life. I didn't realize how much I painted, and this is all since Friday, and we're recording on Tuesday. I painted a lot. I'm not gonna get in depth. I'm gonna go through it. Stuff I painted for myself. I painted Red Skull 2 and his grunts. I have painted Doctor Strange, Frankenstein Monster, which I love how he came out. He's one of my best painted models. I painted Mummy's base. I repainted my new Gwen Stacy on my new Spider-Verse themed bases. I retouched my Iron Fist. I painted my Baze and Cheer Up for Shatterpoint. Commissions. I did 2 of Jin's commissions, Wrecking Crew and Abomination. I did, of course, I did one of our PRP members, Rob's taco truck that I've had for a while. I painted another one of my friends' Shatterpoint minis, which was Count Dooku and the B1 droids, and then I painted another one of my friends' Kanan and Ezra for Shatterpoint.
Nice.
And I also painted 8 Shatterpoint bases for my Rebel theme.
Just wolf. Man.
I really didn't realize how much I painted.
Well, you certainly made up for the summer vacation for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
This is more models than some of my friends would ever paint in the summer. Like this includes me for sure.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, congratulations, man. That's a hobby goal and a half.
I mean, like I feel accomplished. Like when I got done with class today, I just went home and was just painting for like 4 hours before going to the shop.
I was to say, like, could you guesstimate like how many hours you spent painting like in the last like 4 days?
At least 4 hours each day, but it wouldn't be like except for today. Friday was a whole painting day. Saturday night I painted from 9 p.m. to like 2 p.m. to get ready for the tournament on Sunday. Some of my stuff I wanted to retouch. I don't know, at least like 4 hours each day, but they were all like I'll paint like 2 hours, take a break, go back like 2 hours or something like that.
Right. I mean, yeah, obviously not 4 like hours straight, but yeah, if you were the roughly, so let's say 4 hours each day. So what? That's a good 16 hours of painting that you did?
Yeah. That's really nice.
I wish I can have you come down because one of the things my local store does, which I think is a really cool event, it's called the Garrison 21.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, you start beginning of at 20. You have 21 hours basically from the box build the models, prime them, and paint them.
That's
basically
cool.
and you just have to stay up for the 21 hours to do
so
the whole
cool.
thing.
I like that.
So I feel like you would probably like rock and roll like on that like pretty well.
So I've gotten better at painting, but I've also have realized what section on a model needs to take time and what you don't need to spend a lot of time on. Like, example, Frankenstein, when I was painting him, I spent a lot of time on the skin and the jacket because I knew that's going to be the eye-catching part. But the green shirt, I spent quite a bit of time. But then, like, the jeans, I've only spent quite a bit of time on his left leg sticking out because that's where the light will reflect. And the other parts of the leg are very dark. So it's like I'm not spending so much time on them. And then some models are just easier to paint than others. Like Doctor Strange, his glowy effect of his base only took like 40 minutes because I use fluorescent paints and contrast paints. And then, his actual body took a lot longer. I guess it's just really it just depends. I will say, surprisingly, the most annoying model that I painted and that I'm not even going to build or paint my own now is Wrecking Crew. And surprisingly, Abomination is not that hard to paint and a lot of fun to paint. But Wrecking Crew, I have now done 3 commissions for them. I'm having another feel of like Hulkbuster. Like I don't even want to build or paint mine.
Oh no!
I mean, if I want to use them one day, obviously I will. But I'm not in a rush to do it.
Yeah, you're definitely not enthused to put those models together and do them. I mean, and they were essentially 4 MCP models, right? Like on one large base.
Correct.
So it's a lot, dude. So
yeah.
Cool. Anyway, there's a reason why I farmed it out, listeners. So thank you to my co-host for taking the L on that one for me. By L, I mean you did a really good job on these because they look awesome.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
Nice. Okay, moving on to the life stuff here. I was invited by my parents to New York City this weekend to celebrate something called the Hungry Ghost Festival. I don't know what it is. It's just a filial piety, like a celebration that probably has some sort of pagan roots back in the day, but it's just an excuse for a family to sort of get together and get some food.
That's
So
nice.
it should be a good time. Yeah.
You win the whole weekend?
Yeah. No, just for Sunday. Usually, what they'll do is they'll rent out a banquet hall, and you just kind of just chill out there. Eat like a multi-course like meal. Just catch up with family and call it a day.
That's
People
good.
will comment like, "Hey, are you married? Are you fat?" Those are the usual questions that I get.
Okay.
So, no, it's sorry. This is a very very Asian way for families to sort of talk to each other. So like I kind of just like it's like this is normal. So I don't sweat it at this point.
Okay.
How about you, Mike? Anything going on life wise?
It's just started classes. Not so bad. I don't mind my classes. Monday I'm at school all day. I'm there from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. But my class yesterday ended early, so it wasn't too bad. Honestly, I like my schedule a lot. I'm at school basically all day Monday, and then I only have to go in one time on Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday for an hour,
nice.
like an hour and 15 minutes each time. So I really like my schedule. Thursday, like don't have anything, so it's really nice.
Nice. So yeah, you can just like do all your like off hour stuff, and then you can just have the rest of the time back, right, to do what you want to do.
It's also the money is not bad. I have a 3.5 hour break between my classes. So like yesterday I was just doing homework. One class's whole homework assignments for the next 2 weeks because the teacher posted everything for the year basically. But
whoa. Yeah. Okay.
Well, it's not bad. It's kind of like do it at your own pace. But it's all due at this due dates. So it's not bad. I got like the next 2 weeks worth of work done basically.
Nice. Yeah. I like it.
Yeah. So okay. Next we do upcoming events. Oh, I see you have something else.
Oh, this is probably a residual like thing from Bork, I would say.
Oh, did he put that?
He probably did. Yeah. So let's see. Okay, listeners. We've now approached the segment that we're about let's say 10 minutes into the show, maybe, and we're supposed to hold off on talk about MCP as long as possible to piss off Mike Whalen. But this is currently a PRP-led podcast, so we will ignore the Steven's instructions for now. Moving on to... Okay. What were you saying, Mike?
No. Okay, we can go to the next section, yeah.
Okay. We have a ton of events to sort of go through. Newly added, just want to let people know that East Coast Gamers in Toms River, New Jersey, will be having a tournament on September the 13th. So I think right about when this episode comes out, it'll probably be that weekend, which is basically this weekend, upcoming.
Yes.
Red Steel Gaming will have a tournament the next week in Matawan, New Jersey on the 20th, hosted by our good friend Will. Then next weekend after that, in East Windsor, Connecticut, the Battle Standard will be having a tournament. I'll be running that with a chess clocks on site as well, for those of you that enjoy chess clocks.
Oh, chess clocks! You didn't tell me that. Oh.
Yeah, man.
Oh, maybe now I will definitely take the drive out there.
You gotta prepare, man, for for the events coming up.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got the fall retreat that you and I and Will are going to in Charlton, Massachusetts, in October 17th through the 19th. Should be a good time.
I can't wait for that.
Looking for more teams to join, so please join up if you want to have a nice overnight weekend at a camping ground. Food and lodging are provided all in the ticket price, which should be a good time. The AOS folks have always recommended this event, so we'd love to have MCP have a good showing. So get you and two buddies together.
Take it from me. Team events are the best way to play this game.
I super agree.
That is my opinion. I did the one team event that I had so much fun, and I just want to do team events now.
Yep. So good news. There will be more. So falling in to quickly mention, WC will be end of October. So that's October 25th through the 26th. Obviously, registration is closed then, but look out to see some head-to-head competition between all the different countries and their teams coming. Should be an exciting time. See who breaks the meta and like have some very interesting lists when you have to spread across 5 players. let's see, PAX Unplugged in Philadelphia. I believe that Friday, November 21st, Will is running the GT that day. It should be a one-day GT, I think. So if you're looking for dice, scoreboards, acrylic cards, all that good stuff, consider checking out PAX Unplugged in Philadelphia. And that's also just a great board game convention if you guys are interested in going to that. Let's see, the Standoff is being held by the folks at this podcast in Portland, Maine. This is going to be on November the 22nd to the 23rd. So you can try to go to PAX Unplugged in PA for Friday, and then you can come up to Maine the 22nd, 23rd for a great event in Portland. Check it out. It's a great area and great food there if you are at all seafood fiend. Let's see. Everwinter is in Boston, and that'll be December the 5th through the 7th, hosted by Brian Obi-Watts. Happy birthday, Brian. We miss you, Brian. And hope to see you soon. And then I'd like to also announce Captain Con. So this is going to happen between January 30th to February the 2nd. So there'll be a singles event for Marvel on January 30th, but the big main event is the Ravagers Cup. That's going to be a 3-man Highlander format, February the 1st and the 2nd. And I believe the player docket packet that we have, it's hosted by me, Shane York, and Eric Harrell. We were asking folks to make a completely Highlander teams of 3. So that means no duplicate characters, no duplicate tactics cards, and no duplicate crisis for that event. So that should be interesting to see who will get the brace and who doesn't get the brace for Impact. And there'll be a lot of interesting decisions that I hope players will have to make. I'm
planning on attending that.
Yes. That'll also be a chess clock event for those that want more chess clocks focused events as well. So look forward to that. Please check out Captain Con. Hotel and registrations are all available. So if you want to book your stuff now, please check it out. It is in Warwick, Rhode Island, which is right next to the airport. It's like 7-minute drive from the airport in Rhode Island. So really easy to get to, especially if you're traveling from out of state. So check it out. Let's see. Okay, we can now get to our main topic today, and that is Mike and I recently went to Top Deck Games in Cherry Hill, New Jersey for a tournament last Sunday. So, yeah, do you want to talk about Top Deck Games? And because you've been there more than once before, right, Mike?
Yeah, I've been there for a couple years ago for Legion tournament when I played that competitively. That was my first miniatures game. And then it was a tournament like maybe... I don't know how long ago it was at this point, but then they had an MCP tournament. It was like 24 players. And that's how I ended up actually meeting a lot of the PRP people. It was like my first interaction with them. And then I've been to 2 other tournaments there. I believe, from what I've been told, I don't know if this is true, but this is what I've been told, that the store is in an old bowling alley. It is ginormous. It is a big store. They have a lot of selection of paints, hobby stuff, miniatures, cards, board games, Legos, even plushies to buy. They have their own cafe, which sadly wasn't open actually, but they do have a cafe. And they have a giant gaming space. I like that store. It's just a far drive, but I really like the store. It's ginormous.
Yeah, no, I wish it was closer because, I have to basically go almost to Pennsylvania to get to that store.
Yes.
So I was happy that we were able to get a ride with you and a bunch of folks there. But yeah, the store is huge, dude.
You don't think it's going to be big from the outside. Like, it's a little door at the corner of the place, and you don't think it's going to be big, and then you walk in, and it's ginormous.
Yeah. This is one of those, you're in good business when, the gaming store, has, shopping baskets you can hold to get stuff. It's that's just how much the selection is there. Yeah, it's I don't even think I actually got to see the entire store, but there was, a deep, alleyway of worth of, board games, and also really the hobby setup, too. They had these really nice, cutting mats, adjustable lamps and everything, so that, it's certainly, you're hitting all the different,
oh, wait, they had cutting mats?
There. Yeah, dude, it was crazy.
I didn't see that. I probably would have. I probably would have got that. I didn't even see that.
Yeah, they were actually right by the tournament tables, actually. So,
oh, that's why. Okay.
You can buy stuff, you can build stuff there. It looks like, and then you can just play. It's all there. The whole cycle is right there.
I remember one time I went there on a weekday just to play a casual game a year ago, and I asked the worker, "Why is there so much people here?" Because they had, I think, almost 500 players for Magic the Gathering. And they didn't even take up a lot of space. 500. I mean, card games don't take up a lot of space regardless. But it only took up half of the playing room.
Yeah. I mean, so our tournament had like 12 participants, right, for MCP. And on top of that, there were still like at least like, I want to say like 4 or 5 games of Warhammer that were still going on too, right? And everyone had plenty of space to be accommodated with.
Yeah, with that, and then there's 2 people playing Legion behind us, which I was kind of peeking over, seeing them because I'm looking at getting back into that game. And then they were having another, I think it was like a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament going on at the same time.
Yeah.
It's a good store. I like that store a lot.
Yeah, so definitely like the staff are also like really friendly as well. So like everyone's very personable. They ask you how you're doing, like what they can help you with. So like it's nice because sometimes like you go to a store and sometimes the staff can be a little cold or they're a little awkward sometimes. So I was glad that like it seemed very warm like at the start, which is nice considering the size of it.
Yes, yeah, it was nice. Okay,
so who do we went down with this? So it was me, you, and.
You can go ahead, Jen.
Oh, okay. So I had to. So since I was driving from Connecticut, it was going to be like a 4-hour drive, basically, if I went straight to Top Deck on my own. So thankfully, I was able to meet up with our friends Pedro and Marge somewhere in the midpoint. So I could just bum at least an hour or so off the trip by going to their place instead. And then I think we went to pick you up, right then?
Yeah,
and we went to there.
Then we went to the coffee shop by my house. I love that coffee shop. And then we went from there down to there, and then we met up with Will from PRP that was at the tournament too.
Yeah, I don't know how far Will has to drive. Do you know if he lives more central or North Jersey? Like for him,
maybe like 30 minutes. I don't want to say that, but I know he lives closer than we do.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah,
nice. Okay, so as far as like the actual tournament goes, we got to play in a 3-round event. There were 12 players. So we're not going to do like a super like play-by-play, but rather I just would like to just call out the matchup. And then if there's any like fun little like highlights you want to give about it or some lessons learned, like, we kind of go for that format.
Do you want to go over what we played first before we do that?
Oh, yeah. So why don't you start off with your list if you want to go with that?
My list changed. I'm actually trying to get it right now. You go yours first, and then I'll go mine because I'm trying to bring it up right now because I kind of forgot a little bit.
Sure. Okay. So we've been trying to do different configurations of our Inhumans list. So this latest version, we actually took out Quicksilver. I know, which is very sad because I do really like Quicksilver, like conceptually. It's just that a lot of times, like it's been hard to get like good value out of him, like mid to late game, if it's not a pay to flip. So he doesn't have any displacement or control. So I was like, okay, well, maybe we can see if we can take him out for now and put more control pieces in. So
I didn't even notice.
Right now, the list I took is Black Bolt, Medusa, Lockjaw, Karnak, Gorgon, Miss Marvel for Humans Core. Just about every one of these characters has some sort of displacement outside of Lockjaw. Then we also put in King T, Dr. Voodoo, Miles for the Better Tomorrow play. And then we're trying a new Tooth Written. That is Bob, Agent of Hydra. What I was finding out was that Black Widow was kind of just kind of dying a lot in my games. So once she picks up an extract, basically it was hard for her to do much more in the game. So it was her and Quicksilver running the same problem, right? You have these great long movers that are able to grab something pretty quickly, but then it's kind of a struggle to figure out like what their job is, right? In the middle of the game. So we decided to, switch them out for some characters with more impact. Bob is great because like, even if the opponent kills him, like it's fine because he keeps coming back as long as he hasn't activated yet. So you still maintain your current amount of activations.
Yeah.
And sometimes you kind of want that to make sure that you kind of go last in a later round. And, you have at least once per game, like, 9 dice attack you can throw into somebody. And maybe that's all you need, especially considering like how quickly Inhumans games go, Mike. Like I say that they're usually over by like round 3, round 4 for the most part.
Yeah. That's been my experience against them so far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so having just one rocket attack that you can put on people, I think like makes a lot of sense to me. So that's kind of what we were going in with.
Nice. Okay. The Crisis, I'm assuming, have been the same?
Oh, yeah, that's a good thing to shout out on. I am trying some more 16s. So we're putting in Cosmic Invasion, Deadline to Destruction, and Infinity Formula for current secures. Mostly because like we were thinking that this may be an interesting thing to do against Apocalypse. So if I get the 16, like I think a 16 for Apocalypse can be like pretty awkward because he usually means they have to sacrifice something to be able to like one of the horsemen can't be taken because
Yeah.
most apocalypses don't have honey badger and toad. So you'll probably have to sacrifice one of horseman's rolls to be able to fit into the 16.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and the affair format is good because I think usually I can split my forces into 2 decent flanks and they should be pretty good with the extra power to do whatever they need to do.
Oh yeah, it just supports your leadership even more.
Yeah, this also could be scoundrels in the future, but I don't know. I don't have anything that ignores cover natively, so I was kind of nervous to put that in. So we'll see.
All right. I'll go over mine. I did not play webs. Surprisingly,
You did not play webs.
No,
Shocking.
I did not play webs. I've been playing Midnight Suns the past week. Very addicting. I understand why people like them now.
Dude, the bump is so much fun, dude.
Yeah, it feels like I'm cheating with Midnight Suns because of the bump. It just does not seem fair. Almost all my models are able to attack round 1 with getting onto the point.
Mm-hmm.
So I had Blade. I'll go over. So I had Blade, Encantu, Iron Fist, Doctor Strange, no gem or anything, Wong, Immortal Hulk, Abomination, Shang-Chi, who I didn't even use, and he's actually coming out of the list, and Red Skull, Master of Hydra. And then for Crisis, I had Deadline, Mayor Fist, Deadly Meteors, which I want to try it, but I have not still had the opportunity to play Deadly Meteors. I might just have to ask somebody to force it in a casual game. Terrigen Cancers, Inhuman deploy Advanced Weaponry, and Scrolls.
Nice.
And then my text cards are the pretty basic Suns cards that everyone usually uses. I'm having a lot of fun with them.
Siege Darkness is also super clutch, just to sort of take a look at the board state or just rearrange it,
Yeah, I've surprisingly been using it top of the round a lot to actually see how the board looks to who to go with first in my games. But there are some games where I'm this character needs to go down. I just use a siege on just one character to guarantee it, and then usually you still have bats up to help chip through the damage. I've only had 1 siege turn so far in my games, so I'm that kind of sucked.
I mean, you figure usually with the volume of attacks that you get, if you get 2 or 3 people to go, usually it's pretty okay.
Yeah,
and Blade super appreciates the extra attack for sure.
Yeah, because then it can have him use the builder to get that bleed on, so when he goes, he can do a spender right away, or to do the gainer to get into position. Doctor Strange can almost just use it on anybody. What I've been doing a lot is when I use it, you have if Mummy is not in range of anybody, and I think I can push a character either with Hulk or Strange closer to him, I will still have him spend the power and have Strange go attack the person, and if they get the advance by doing damage, advance him closer to Mummy, so the Mummy can still do the siege turn.
Ah, okay, yeah, no, I like that. And the thing is, I feel once Mummy has 2 power and a soul or 2, he's usually pretty good to go.
Yeah,
at that point. So
he's usually not in range to hit anything on a siege turn in my experience. So that's how I've been doing it. If I'm looking at the board, I'm there's no way I can get a model closer to him. I just save the power. But if there is a chance where he's not in range, but I know 1 advance will get him by an eyeball to Mummy to attack from either Strange or Immortal Hulk. If I go and he rolls the wild, I will pay the power and to do that still, just on the off chance I can get an attack.
Yeah, for sure. And there's now a lot of games I feel either you're taking a Strange or a Hulk in there for a lot of different scenarios.
Yeah, I think every game I have at least one of them, but I don't think I've ever played. I haven't played a game yet actually where I have had both on the table at the same time.
No, I don't think you would ever really need to take both.
No, no. But Red Skull's almost been on every game.
Yeah, that's the actual 5-thread gas model, right? That you want to bring.
Yeah. That's my list.
Nice. So let's see. If we let's proceed into our round 1. So I'll go first since I know your round 1 was a little back and forth, a little dramatic for a little bit. So I got to play against Pedro, actually. So the man that drove us down there, I get matched into him first round, and he's rocking a shield list recently. And Pedro's been having a lot of success and a good time with Shield. I think the movement tricks have really been like, like tickling like the brain as far as like making sure it's like really fun. He's running invaders too, so there's a lot of like layers of rerolls happening to make sure that the characters like sort of stay alive.
Mm-hmm.
So we end up pulling scientific samples and Deadline to Destruction. I forgot who had priority, but I'm going to assume that he had priority since he took his extracts. I decided to go 16 just because I haven't tried 16 before. But that was a mistake because that allowed him to play, let's see, Namor with no gem. Let's see, Agent Venom, Nick Fury, and Black Cat. That was the team that he brought.
He did have priority. I'm looking at it now. He did have prio.
Yep. Okay. So yeah, I was like, oh, you went 4 wide, but you're able to pick up 5 extracts. That's not good. And I end up taking a 5 wide team that included Bob, Lockjaw, let's see, and both Miles and Miss Marvel and Black Bolt. So the I learned a lot of lessons in that game because there's a couple great plays by Pedro. He basically was able to grab some samples like pretty early with the grunts, and with I believe with Cat. Oh no, not with Cat, for Namor. So basically, it was like I either had to chase down Namor or the grunts to try to get at the samples. And I committed Black Bolt to the other side because I thought Agent Venom was going to put some pressure there. So I just wanted Bolt to be there and answer. And he just rotated away, just like, that's an energy attack cannon. I'm just gonna like move away from that dude. I'm just like, tight, cool, dang it, you right?
Yeah.
And he left the deadline in another sample like just on the floor. I'm just like, it's like. And I just saw red, dude. Like I just like teleported with great refuge and started blasting people, which I did daze Agent Venom, but like honestly, that it created a gap early in the game that Pedro just kept leveraging, and he was able to stay like a couple points ahead like at all times, until he finally like won the game. So I think me giving up those points early on for the dazes were just not worth it because once Agent Venom woke up, he was able to just murder my 3 threats, both Miles and Kamala, because like they rely on rerolls to live, and he just beamed them. And I'm just like, ooh, yeah. that's bad. That's real bad.
Do you find if Inhumans don't get their extracts or you don't get a civilian extract that the list is like it becomes worse? I mean, obviously it does because you don't have Terrigenesis, but is it like significantly worse?
Yeah, there's not as an easy like gap closer, right? Because you don't have access to Terrigenesis.
Yeah.
So, but that's kind of okay because that allows you to take other cards that maybe might help for offense pressure. Mm-hmm. So then like instead of you being like more scenario, well, even with Terrigenesis, you're kind of like slightly like hints of the beatdown, right? That you can get like during the match. So I think for Inhumans, they have to keep in mind that how many points are on the board and like how many points they expect to score each turn, and are they keeping pace with the opponent, right? Because like the models I brought, they're not made to like table the opponent, right? Like at the end of the day, Pedro's going to be able to hit much harder than I am going to be able to hit. So I didn't leverage my model counts like well to score the points to keep up with him, so that we could have a more tighter like game in that aspect, So I think that's where I kind of goofed.
I will say when I was watching you guys game like at the beginning, I definitely thought you were going to win because Black Cat and Agent Venom got dazed like round 1. I was like, oh, it's like that sucks for Pedro. I was like, I don't know. I was really thinking, I was like, I don't know how he's going to come back from that.
Yeah. I mean, like that's the thing is that he still like was able to maintain extract pressure.
Yeah,
he was able to score the bonus points like really consistently. Like Pedro understood like how the crisis worked.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a time where I was trying to sink my teeth into his Namor, but he was able to eye in the sky away because like Nick had built enough power by then to just sort of do that. And I was like, right, yep. So Miles lost his like his buff to his web swing and stuff, which is a shame because like I should have known this because I did have a brief stint in Shield, and I just like was like, oh yeah, this card's great. I just it just blipped, So it's just one of those things where it just like reminds you that it's like right, you're playing Shield. Keep in mind that Eye in the Sky is like a very like thing that's just going to happen, and also you have to mind like I guess like how tall the shield player can go depending on the threat level. So it turns out that shield is actually pretty comfortable at 16 threat is what I found out. So next time I think I need to go a higher threat against him so we have a more even model count.
What was his model? What models did he bring again?
Oh, he brought 4. So it was Namor, Agent Venom, Nick Fury with the grunts, and then he splashed in Black Cat.
Okay, all right. I like the Black Cat. Okay.
Yeah, the Black Cat's good. Like just like an extra bit of scenario pressure, right, on there, and also you get some good staggers.
I was talking to him the night before the tournament because he had Asian Venom in his list, and he's like, "Do you think I bring Asian Venom into Inhumans?" I was like, "It really is like 50-50 because Asian Venom can negate like Inhumans rerolls, but he gets lit up by Black Bolt." I was like, "You could try it. Like, I don't think it's bad, but it really just depends on how Black Bolt's gonna roll against him."
Yeah. And Black Bolt doesn't necessarily spike his damage like all the time, right? So if the shield player under Invaders was able to get him into a reroll bubble, so let's say like Agent Venom was next to Namor, like you're probably not going to die like in 2 attacks from Bolt, like, but also then you also have access to the Eye in the Sky as well. Mm-hmm. So that's another consideration. The other thing too is that Agent Venom also gets the range 3 place right from his symbiotic web swing. So just making sure that Black Bolt, can only get 1 attack into Agent Venom, like can usually keep him alive pretty much most of the game.
I do like how he has that. Yeah. It's not as bad as like you may think of it because he's such a low energy defense.
Obviously, don't overextend Agent Venom, right? So he's within if you leave Agent Venom within double tap range of Bolt, then he's probably going to go down, right?
Yeah. You just got to be very careful.
Yeah. So that was my round 1. How about you? How did your round 1 go, Mike?
I was so disappointed. I got the bye round 1. I was so disappointed.
Yep.
There was 12 players signed up, but my opponent didn't show up. So I ended up getting the bye. So my round 1 was great. I mean, I remember I was texting Halana, my girlfriend, and she's like, "How's round 1 going?" I'm like, "I'm bored." And she's like, "Why?" I was like, "I got the bye." And she didn't know what that meant, so I texted her, and she's like, "That's good. You got the win." I was like, "No, I would rather play round 1 and lose than get a bye, especially if you drive like a good distance to get to the tournament."
That's true. Yeah, it is disappointing that like you drive like an hour or so like to a place and just like it's like, oh, I guess I'm just chilling for the first 2 hours of this tournament. But I appreciate your SO just being a support partner, just being a very results driven person.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that too. Because she texted me, she's like, "You shouldn't be upset. You won round 1. It's okay." I was like, okay, so I guess so. But I watched your guys' game. I also watched Will's game against Colin. Oh my god, I had a blast watching Will's game versus Colin. Actually, that was fun to watch because I'm watching Jian and Pedro, and I see Jian Daze Black Cat like round 1, and then I go over to their table, and the first thing I see Will do, he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna move, and I'm gonna go mutant absorption, Killmonger," and he then proceeded because he was using Professor X. So he passed power. He proceeded to roll like 5 hits and did 5 damage to Killmonger round 1. And
oh my god,
Colin! I don't think Colin has played against Rogue and understood it. And then I explained it to him how he doesn't get power and how under Professor X it's really dumb. And he's like, "Well, that's stupid." He's like, "Lee, that's stupid." So then I go over to your guys' table, and then I'm like, "How's it going?" And Pedro's like, "Yeah, Agent Venom's days." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "What is going on at these 2 tables?"
Marvel dice, baby.
Yeah.
No, that's sometimes they get kind of wild. And it's an exploding dice game, folks. It happens sometimes. But to Pedro's credit, he definitely climbed it back and was able to despite the 2 dazes, was still able to outscore me at the end of the day because he just kept on the extract boot, which is really, really good.
That's good. That's good for Pedro. All right, then we can go to round 2. I guess, do you want to go? And then I'll go. Like, it's like you go, I go.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so I actually got to play against a fairly young player for my next round, so I don't want to give out too much of their information. But they were running a criminal syndicate list. We got Senators and Infinity Formula at 19 threat. We were both running Lockjaw, so we were having a fun time talking about how cool Lockjaw was beforehand. I don't know what the skill gap was going to be, but I just always assumed that it's like okay, well, no matter how young someone is, we we'll assume the best and as respect for the player that they know what they're doing. But before the game started, I did want to make sure it's like, hey, here are the models I have. Let me know if you have any questions or you want me to do a rundown. The models. So, for instance, he was like, "Oh, I don't really know what King T'Challa does. Can you sort of run me through what King T'Challa is?" Like, yeah, no problem. He's a long mover. He's got a builder that has these 2 effects. And he can throw someone with a spender, and he gets a move. The big thing you need to watch out for is the fact that he always gets power when his friends get hurt by stuff. And he's got this random Zemo counterattack, right? So it was he was able to absorb all that, which is really impressive. And from there, I asked him if he needed to run me through any of the tactics cards and stuff like that. So yeah, we got to play our game, and he went 6 wide. He went with Kingpin, Wrecking Crew, Gwenpool, Bullseye. Let's see.
Gwenpool?
Gwenpool, yep. Bullseye,
Nice.
Bob, and also Lockjaw as well. So he was splashing Lockjaw and Bob, but everyone else was affiliated otherwise. I went with I
like his
5 wide. Yeah, no, it definitely it gives plenty of bodies to do stuff, and it's under the Kingpin leadership, right? So if he was able to survive the attacks, right, and then pass the objectives and stuff, it can get pretty gross, right?
Mm-hmm.
We ran, so we were assuming that it's okay, well, this is likely going to be a Kingpin list, so I need to figure out a team that does damage. So for me, I decided to go with Black Bolt, Lockjaw, Miss Marvel, and then I splashed in both Miles and King T'Challa. Figured we can better tomorrow, up the front line, and then also King T'Challa can sort of handle Kingpin since he's got an auto push up to size 3 that he can do.
Yeah,
and then figured Black Bolt and Lockjaw can take one side. So yeah, we had one flank that was King T, one flank that was Lockjaw and Black Bolt, and we had the other 3 threats sort of go up the middle, basically. I very unfortunately to my opponent, I just I kept spiking my initial attacks. So
how dare you?
Black Bolt, he did Black Bolt just dazes Gwenpool round 1. I think it was just from one attack. They would do it was from one attack. King T just rotated around so to just get to a point. But Wrecking Crew though, oh man, yeah. Kamala just transformed with Better Tomorrow and just hit twice into Wrecking Crew and just dazed them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because they just walked up to pick up an extract because there wasn't anybody for them to hit. So I was like, oh boy, all right, yep. And then Miles went. He wasn't able to do a lot of damage into anybody, but he was able to just pick up an extract and just be a general points getter for that. But yeah, the unfortunate thing too is because my opponent was wider than me. That means I started with priority, which meant that it's okay, I guess I either try to kill Wrecking Crew or Gwenpool. So I try to go into the Wrecking Crew and I leave him, I think, essentially on 1 or 2 health left, basically, after Kamala went again. And I think we also dazed as Bob in the process because I think we threw the Wrecking Crew into Bob, or Bob into the Wrecking Crew. That is.
Is he? Is Bob 3 or 4 health? I forgot.
He's 3 health.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's right. Yeah, we threw Bob into the Wrecking Crew. The reason we did that was so that it would prevent them from bulldozing forward because they could do the push right to get forward.
Oh, that's smart, Jin.
Yeah. So we did that, and then we dazed Bob, and then we hit the Wrecking Crew once, left him on 2 health, and then that forced my opponent that's I want to do the bulldoze, and it was well, yeah, unfortunately, this will happen. It's oh yeah. And I was pretty generous with any takebacks there because generally there's a lot of things going on, and there were a couple of misconceptions about how the rules work, so we clarified that.
Mm-hmm.
So once we did that, I was hey, does that change anything you want to do? And I was oh yeah, no, it does. I was okay, yeah, just we'll reset and you can just do it there. So at this point, it was just I was really focused on just making sure that the game was a clean game, and that even if my opponent wasn't going to win, I wanted to make sure that he was having a good time and he was understanding what was happening during the game, So yeah, the game like closed out like by round 3 just because there were so many points like on the board. His dad came over afterwards and like was like, hey, just thank you for being a really patient like opponent. I was like, oh no, your kid was like very cool, and like he was like a great opponent to play with. So like I hope he continues to come back and improve each game, because like he generally has a great interest and understanding of the game. Just that like it's hard to sort of like suss out what's going to happen sometimes, especially in humans. Like there's so many like tricks and stuff they can do, and like random movement stuff that's kind of like hard to see that thread projection like out there.
That's good. That sounds like you had a good game.
Yeah, it was still a good game. Yeah, I just I hope at the end of the day like he had fun and he learned stuff as well. So like
I'm sure he did.
It seemed like good though.
He looked like he was having a good time at the tournament.
Yeah, he gave out the handshake first, and I was like, thank you for being a kind sir and gentleman.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yep, that was my round 2. How was your round 2?
It was good. I versed Pedro as well. We were playing at 17 threat, which was the threat I did not want to play, but both crises we pulled were 17, so I forced to play on it. It was Infinity Formula and canisters. I really wanted to bring Red Skull, but Abomination on canisters was good. And I figured he was going to bring Namor and pick up the middle canister, and then Namor wouldn't be able to get to one of the Infinity Formulas. So I figured if I bring Abomination, I can dive one of his back canisters and try to go up on extracts, even though being tall. So I brought Abomination, Blade. But that's why I brought Abomination. Abomination, Blade, Doctor Strange, and Mummy. And he brought Namor, Zemo, Nick Fury, Spec, and Okoye. Yeah, so I deployed Abomination right in the middle to determine which canister I want to get to, because 2 moves, I'm pretty sure, 2 moves can get there, but also he has the bump. And then I had Mummy on the right side. I had Strange and Blade on the other side. He went and picked up the middle canister with Namor. So I went to the right side, which only had Nick Fury. Not the grunts. It's just Nick Fury. So I went over that one. Then he went with Nick. He double moved onto the points, and the grunts went and picked up his other one. I went with Blade. I picked up my canister. He then went with Okoye. She went to Infinity. I went with Mummy. Basically, just match parity. I think what the really breaking point of the game was, I started rotating everyone. He started rotating everyone but Spec and Okoye towards Abomination and Mummy, because they both had extracts. So I started rotating Strange and kept Blade held down on the Infinity, just throwing range forward throwing glaives at Okoye and Spec the whole time.
Nice.
But I started rotating Strange. I was able to get a decent amount of damage onto Strange. I got him to 1 health, so I decided he was on 2 health, so I decided to go with first top of the round, round 3, go with Siege. I did a bunch of damage with Strange to get him down to 1, and then I pushed him towards Mummy. I sieged with Mummy, didn't do anything, so then I assumed that 2 spenders would get him, because he had 3 souls at that point. They in fact did not get Strange. They didn't do 1 damage. Oh, no. I didn't even roll any skulls, so I couldn't change anything. And I didn't want to waste bats, because the bats wouldn't have gotten it. He was just rolling hot. So then I say to Pedro, I think that might get you the win, because Mummy only had 1 left too. I was like, you could just come, you could charge into Mummy and get him. He did do that. He didn't get Mummy. He then hit Mummy again and didn't get Mummy. So we both were just looking at each other like, okay, what do we do now? Because I was expecting to kill his Namor, and he was expecting to kill my Mummy, and none of that happened. Yeah, so neither of it happened. So I went with Strange, and then I did end up dazing Namor and picking up the extracts. And then after that, because I still had Prio, I ended up taking out Namor top of the round because of that. And Mummy was able to heal from full twice because he's a dumb model with the souls. So I think it was a weird situation, because if I dazed Namor before he went into Mummy, I was like, I'm in a good spot. But then I didn't do it, so I'm thinking like I'm going to lose this game because of that. But then his Namor just shit the bed too. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, we both just have crappy dice. And yeah, that was basically how that went. Because once I was able to kill Namor, I had I had 4 of the canisters and it was on 2 infinities, and I only needed 3 points to win left because I was at 13.
Yep.
But there was a time where he took out Blade. He also KO'd Abomination. And then Strange and Mummy didn't get flip at all. It was a good game though. I brought Abomination to Radiation Zone him because of the poison, but I never even got a chance to Radiation Zone.
Oh yeah, I was about to ask. Like, did people actually get poisoned from the canisters and
They
stuff?
did. They did, but the people that got poisoned it was Namor and the grunts. But before I could Radiation Zone Namor, I ended up dazing him as Strange. So, and then there's no one else to Radiation Zone. I decided to flee Abomination back by Mummy, away from Nick Fury and Zemo, and make him come to me, because at that point I had the extracts.
Yeah, if you had the extra, that makes a ton of sense. Yeah, dude, he's such a good diver for this extract. Oh my god.
Yeah, he's fantastic. I love Abomination. Yeah. I mean, as you know, that's my favorite model that came out last year. He's great. Oh my god, it's almost been a year since that model came out.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, shout out to Pedro for being just a good opponent in both games.
He was. It was a close game. It was. What was the final score? 16-17? Yeah. That was the final score.
Yeah, 17-16. Yeah, it was so close. And like you said, the die roll could have had it gone either way, right?
Oh no, 100%. I think if you got Mummy there, then I think I would have lost that game.
Yeah.
Like I 100% think that. But yeah, that was a really good game. Okay.
Let's see.
We can go to
round 3.
Final round?
Yep. So last round, yeah. So I got to play against Marge, and this is the first time I like Marge and I always are at tournaments together, but we're never paired into each other. So it's just funny that it's like oh, I'm playing everybody I came down in the car with, basically.
Yeah.
Like for this tournament. But it was good. So we got to play Inhumans versus Midnight Suns. So we got unexpected guests in Extremis. Let's see, Marge got priority. So let's see, the crew that she ended up taking was Blade, Man-Thing, Wong, Abomination, and Iron Fist.
I'm so happy she put Abomination on the list. Me and Paige will convince her to do it. Mostly Paige.
Yeah,
but I'm so happy that she finally put him in.
Yeah, sometimes you want like kind of a Hulk S model, right? But you don't want to like necessarily go super tall either, right?
Yeah.
So
she's not a fan.
Nice to
I'm sorry, she's not a fan of iHulk, so I'm happy she has like somewhat of a model like that.
Oh, okay, yeah, I can see that. Like sometimes, like the game plan with Hulk is like you have to be so you can't mess it up. That's the thing. Like it's such a you have to be so on point with that particular model.
Yeah, and then when he whiffs, it feels bad.
Yeah, that's the thing. So let's see, what did I end up taking? So we took because of the unexpected guests, we knew that we could get some in our deployment. So I ended up taking Karnak as my first guy. I ended up taking Gorgon because I wasn't sure if there was going to be a big guy that ends up on the map, and thankfully there was. And then we took Black Bolt, obviously, and then we took Bob and Dr. Voodoo for this match. I figure with the amount of Mystic attacks that he probably has available, that we should have at least one guy that doesn't die in Mystic pretty easily. So to my benefit also, like because the team was wider, like it's like, oh, okay, there's more people that I can possibly like possess too from that. So we ended up counter deploying, and Karnak ended up being on a side that was right across from Abomination and Iron Fist. I tried to have Gorgon back up Karnak, but it didn't quite work out the way I wanted to. But I think also we were also like trying to figure out some rules, and we realized that there's a throw vector that Abomination had that like would have went through Iron Fist, and that kept Marge from being able to throw like a big piece of terrain that she wanted to throw like into somebody.
Oh, damn.
So that was one of those things like because you just kind of do it automatically. You sometimes you don't think about putting out the tool.
Yeah.
And so this is a more cautionary tale to our listeners. Like, make sure that if you are throwing somebody, throwing something into somebody, that you definitely look at the tool down first before you declare it. We walked it back, obviously, because obviously like it would be really shitty to like just throw this in Iron Fist.
Yeah.
But it's just like one of those things you don't think about very much, and then it just came up like a couple times during this. I think March wanted to go with Abomination Iron Fist to like take out some activations, but ended up leaving Blade in an awkward spot a couple times, and he just ended up getting attacked a couple times by Black Bolt, and which was really rough, and he just like couldn't weather the storm eventually. So I think I ended up dazing Black Bolt round 2, and at top of the round 3, I was able to get him because like I think there was just another model that had a more pressing activation than Blade did, so she went with him instead. Wong was just farming points the entire time.
He was just in the back,
just chilling,
as Wong does.
Yeah. Poor Man Thing, because like the March attacks with Man Things were actually like really good, but the problem is the deadline, or not the deadline point, the extremis point was next to a building. So Mummy was on, not Mummy, the Man Thing was on top of the building and was trying to like pull the characters, but all they could do is pull into the building, and it was still on the point.
Mm-hmm.
So because of that, like Marge couldn't ever like actually displace these characters off the point, right? So that I never had to like do an extra move or anything to get back. I just kept being double tapped into either Man Thing or Blade. So that was just a rough like moment there. But yeah, it was overall still a pretty good game. I think the total score was like 19-12 there. There was like a couple points where like my extract holders definitely could have gone down if like Abomination just rolled like a little bit better. And that could have like definitely closed the gap there. But yeah, Blade was just in a rough spot that whole time, because like we got to attack him twice, and if he even ran away, we probably could have great refuge still and just like try to get him, because Black Bolt was not holding an extract that entire time, because in case we wanted to do that.
Blade does not Blade. Black Bolt does a good job of just hunting Blade. Yeah.
So it's just one of those things where like it's like you have to sort of weigh the things, and like more often than not, I feel like since Bump is so like important to the leadership, it probably does make sense to sort of like try to get Blade out of there.
Oh yeah,
as long as it makes sense, right? So that's the thing, yeah. But Marge and I talked about it afterwards, and yeah, that there was definitely there's definitely like good things to sort of watch out for, like in future games.
Mm-hmm.
I also want to shout out Bob for taking away an Iron Fist activation, because he was like, oh, I can shoot this rocket from outside of range 3, and that was the key to him actually like taking away that activation.
Do you have any damage on him or full health?
He had one. So the excessive violence did 4 damage to Iron Fist. I was like, that's pretty good.
Oh damn! Yeah. No, that's good.
Yeah. So like I'm a fan of Bob, actually. Like that game made me a fan of Bob for what he was able to do during the game.
Bob is very nice. I like Bob. He definitely doesn't get as much love as he should.
Which is strange, yeah, because we were talking about the like underappreciated models, and like I think Bob should really be taken more often than he is right now, because like he sticks around, like, and that's sometimes what you need your 2-threat to do, is just stick around and sort of do stuff, right? And you can be a little more reckless with him, because like he just doesn't die, until he gets to his injured side, and then you have to worry about the activation order. No,
he's great. I really like him.
Yeah. So that was my round 3. What you got?
Okay, so I played Colin. I've never played Colin. I've seen him in tournaments before. He goes to top deck usually to play. He was playing Wakanda. I was playing Midnight Suns. We got Intrusions and Inhumans weapons. And I got to pick the threat. I picked 19. But this is where I have to apologize to Colin. I already spoke to him about it. I picked my characters at 20 by mistake. I took Hulk, Red Skull, Blade, and Voodoo, which is 20 threat. Which doesn't make any sense. I just could not do math. I also took a while to pick my characters, so I think I was just overthinking it. But I want to apologize to Colin on here to apologize. Like I'm truly sorry about that. But we talked about it. We came to the conclusion it would not even have mattered, seeing the fact just Voodoo got flipped, and then he eventually just died. He actually just didn't do anything throughout that game. But I want to say that before I get into going over the game. Because I remember... it is unfortunate. I feel bad for doing that. I don't think I've done that in a tournament before.
Man, well, shout out to Simon. I guess you're not the only one that I can make fun about this in the future.
No, you can make fun about me. I just could not have done math.
Yep.
But I guess game wise, I deployed Blade, Eyehawk, and Red Skull all on one side of an intrusion because he had Killmonger, M'Baku, Okoye, and Zemo, and then his Red Skull was up against my Voodoo. My Voodoo and his Red Skull are basically irrelevant to everything. They just did not like either models didn't do anything actually. Came down to I picked up an extract. One of the human weapons with Blade. Round one, he went with was it King T? He moved, did the range 3 energy attack, got 1 damage, pulled him closer. I then decided to move Red Skull and the Grunts to pick up the other Inhuman and go on to the points. I put Red Skull in range of sacrifice of Blade. He then moved with M'Baku. He did his builder, got no damage, and then went with Okoye, moved, builder, and got no damage into Blade. So I ended up going up 3 to 5 round 1. And then because I just maintained Pyro the whole game, I was Eyehawk and Red Skull were just knocking out King T, and M'Baku, and Okoye, who all eventually didn't get KO'd. I think top of 3 took out M'Baku first with Eyehawk. Well, first I threw M'Baku into Okoye, which left her on 1. I then did the builder into M'Baku, and then threw him again into Okoye, which dazed her, and then did the spender into M'Baku, and then KO'd him. Or no, KO'd Okoye, sorry, not him. So they both went down in Eyehawk. And then when Red Skull went, he dazed King T, and then the next round he killed King T. I did eventually lose Blade and Voodoo, but it was just a bloodbath, which I'm not used to. I'm not used to just a bloodbath.
Dude, yeah, and intrusions is like, you'll never be like a scenario team like on intrusions. Like you have to fight at a certain point, you know? Which is crazy that I like to call out that you can use M'Baku to still like just like bulldoze the other characters.
Yeah, that's what
like,
I was doing.
Like, he doesn't take any damage from collisions, but he's still a size 3. That means he's still a liability when you throw him into, his own team still, right?
Yeah. That was my mindset. Also, Red Skull's Grunts, they shot 2 times each round and didn't do 1 lick of damage that whole game. But what they did do was just stand on the intrusion scoring it. So it was that.
Yeah. Did you rotate them often using the free interacts? Or
no. I mean, the fight was all on the right intrusion. So I just kept them there to do 4 dice into M'Baku every time. He didn't get any damage. Red Skull, so once I killed M'Baku and Okoye, Eyehawk then teleported. I decided to drop his extract, and then he just went after his Red Skull, and then ended up KOing his Red Skull round 4 at the end. So by the end of the game, Colin only had Zemo left on the board, and I had Red Skull, who wasn't flipped, and Eyehawk, who only had like 4 damage on him. Yeah, it was a bloodbath.
That's rough.
Yeah, we talked about it afterwards. I think if he moved M'Baku and Okoye up on the intrusions round 1 to not go down so much on points, it would have been better. Like I think the King T attack was fine, the first one, but I think the Okoye and M'Baku, I think they should have moved up on the intrusion to not have me score so much points round 1.
Right. Yeah.
Also, he didn't take I Am a Baron, so round 1 he moved with Zemo, attacked the Grunts, but got 1 damage. So the Grunts were scoring at that time the middle intrusion by themselves with nobody on it.
Oh.
So yeah, I ended up having 3 inhuman weapons and 2 intrusions. That's how I went up on 5 points. And then I think that's it. I took out M'Baku and Okoye before he could Wakanda forever.
Oh man, that's huge.
Yeah.
Yikes. Okay. Yeah.
So it was only King T. And then my Siege of Darkness was only Eyehawk. Which mattered because that's what ended up KOing M'Baku, or helping KOing M'Baku. Red Skull's just really strong in Suns.
He is. Yeah. He's definitely his most, I think, unfair version of himself.
Yeah, it's kind of like ridiculous. I never noticed it until I started playing it.
Yeah, I will say that the playing Wakanda, like that Red Skull is also pretty good because more often than not, you get at least one of your triggers. Mm-hmm. So, including I believe the dash trigger, I think is the one he gets on the was it the wild hit? Yeah, wild hit. Yeah.
But I mean, like in Suns, he's just able to bump onto the objective round one and then cut himself and attack round one onto somebody. It's just really strong.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. And it's unfortunately like, Red Skull is unofficially like, the one of your go-to Suns models, right? That you'll see before like a lot of anything else.
like I played a Scrolls game the other day against Borg, and then his Iceman got pushed closer to me. So then I went with Man-Thing, did the builder, pushed Iceman even closer to me. He was like base to base with Red Skull round one before Red Skull even went, and he just like double tapped him. It was so stupid how consistent that model can kill stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you think about at least like Corvus back in the day when he had to count the blanks. At least he had to spend like 3 power to get it, and you didn't really get extra power outside of his gem, right? So you had to sort of like still build that 1 power, like either the spear throw or something beforehand. Like the fact that Skull can just like, it's like, oh yeah, I'll just take a damage, get 2 power. And just so you can start empowering gauntlets like immediately, it's just like woof.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like Corvus, his builder is 5 dice, and then Red Skull's is 6. So it's just you have an extra die. I mean, like Corvus has a Pierce, but I'd rather have the 6 dice in the Pierce, counting the blanks. I feel like that's better.
It is. Yeah, you just have an extra die that just counts 6 out of the like 8 die facings. Like, that's really good.
Yeah, and then it's only 2 power, and he can do a damage to get 2 power. So it's like in Suns, he can move, bump, get the 2 power, and still count blanks round one onto somebody. With the grunts too, if you want, they can attack, but usually just have them go on a secure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But that was the gist of the game. I can't remember the last time I played like a bloodbath of a game like that, because I'm so used to playing scenario that we were just playing full on attrition.
Yeah,
against attrition.
It's rare to see intrusions as a whole, right? It's not usually a lot of KO teams' first choice these days. Like a lot of what I probably consider like the top teams, like in this current meta, like they probably avoid intrusions, right? Because a lot of them like want to score out most of the time.
I mean, but like the combination of Red Skull and Eye Hulk on intrusions, because the grunts can interact, is really nice.
Yep, it's really good.
yeah, everything's right there.
Red Skull's always been like crazy on intrusions, so like having the bump on top of that just like makes it just ultra wacky as far as like just different places you can just pop up, surprise punch you, and then like disappear again.
Yeah. Other than the round one that Colin did, I think he played a really good game. Really. I'm only saying this because Colin asked me to like if I have any like feedback or you have any feedback to talk about it on the cast, because he wants to hear it. Because he wants to get better, he said. But he played it really good. I like seeing him play Wakanda. And his decision making with King T is really nice. And I know that you played a lot of Wakanda, so
I'm trying to think like what I could say. So did he consider taking Shang in the match or no?
I don't think he had Shang-Chi in the list.
Oh, okay.
I don't think so. Let me look at his list.
Because I'm looking at actually, I think Shang is actually in his list.
I did not talk to him about that. I thought his 19 was good though. I think the only thing that we talked about is if he took I'm a Baron after all, he would have been able to move and then charge onto the grunts round one to get onto the points. Too, and then also like move M'Baku and Okoye onto the point. But
that's fair.
Yeah, it was a really good game. I enjoyed my time with him.
Yeah, because I think for Red Skull, like if you can, either you just have to get like a good weight of attacks like into this one of the defenses, but also if you have access to both like King T and Shang, like then like he's going to be vulnerable to one of those defenses, right? And you can kind of go into him for one of those.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I think 19 was awkward though, because like assuming he has to take the normal shell, right? That's going to be M'Baku, King T, and Okoye, which is 11. It would be hard to fit because all you can do is fit in Red Skull. If you want to put in Red Skull, that means all you're left is the 3 threats. So the only other thing you could do is try to go 2 4 threats. So like you could do like maybe like Killmonger and Shang-Chi. Instead.
Yeah. You can do like M'Baku, Killmonger, Shang-Chi. That's 12, and then King T is 17, and then Okoye is 19.
Yeah, so right? I figured like they could do that. Yeah. Conversely, let's see. We're doing this math in real time, folks. So forgive me here. So if you take M'Baku, King T, and let's see, and Killmonger, that leaves you with so that leaves you with 6 threat left over. So there's no 6 threats that he has either. So yeah, I think he was kind of just stuck like with that. So yeah, if he also got to play with 1 point higher, he could also play Shang-Chi.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Fair is fair.
Yeah, he could have had Mr. Shang-Chi over there.
So listen, Colin, if you got to play at 20 threat just like Mike here, okay, and you get to bring Shang-Chi, I think you would have had a pretty good chance of kicking that guy's butt.
I think you definitely would have kicked my ass.
Yep.
I'm so happy that he got the purple dice though.
Yeah, me too. Like those things are really cool, and I know Colin's been at these games like for a while, so yeah, keep on trucking, Colin. We hope to see you at more future events.
Yeah,
and we'll make sure that Mike counts as threat next time, buddy, because that was not cool.
No, it was not. No.
Okay, but we'll have more tournaments to make up for that. But yeah, congratulations on winning the event, Asterix. But win's a win. You got it.
I think that's it for the recap.
I think so. Yeah, I got to pick up some Star Wars figures.
Oh yeah, you bought the Ahsoka box, right?
Yeah, I got the dual pack, which I appreciate AMG is doing now because like the terrain is always so cool on these things, but I can never find a time to actually use the terrain. So I'm glad that they're doing like this. At least with Shatterpoint, they're doing just like these 2-pack of models for these dual scenarios.
Yeah. I didn't get anything actually. Oh no, I did. I got like little plant stuff to put on my bases. Yeah,
so what was it, Gamer's Grass? Like I actually really like their stuff. It looks really, really cool.
I got them for my Shatterpoint bases, and they look nice.
Nice, yeah. I always forget that like you can kind of go kind of wild like rebasing these and stuff like that. I'm just a plastic base pleb, so I just paint whatever the textures are on them. But yeah, you can definitely spruce them up. And Gamer's Grass is great because like they have a lot of good pre-made stuff, I think, but also like a lot of little accents that you can do, like bushes and like plants and stuff, like in foliage.
Yeah. I've never seen them in person. I didn't even know what Gamer's Grass was until I saw it, and then I went onto their website and I saw all the stuff.
Yeah, like I know that this probably doesn't matter as much to you because I know you probably like to do your own personal basing, but I really like the pre-done bases they have. They look fantastic.
Dude, I saw that they had those. I was like taken aback. I was like, I didn't even know a company does that. It was so cool. I was actually thinking about when I get back into Legion, instead of worrying about bases, maybe just buy a bunch of the pre-made bases from Gamer's Grass.
Like the textures are good. Like there's good highlights and everything on that. Like it's like this basing looks better than my paint jobs. Yeah. Like holy crap.
Yeah, they look awesome.
It's just preset. You can buy them all different. Even those odd like big like Titan bases you can get for $40K. Mm-hmm. Like they make them all sorts of sizes. So yeah, shout outs to Gamer's Grass. Like those guys are really make up some really nice stuff. Let's see. So we are running a bit long, but let's see. We did surprisingly this week. We didn't know what AMG was going to drop, but we did get some previews of some new Web Warriors and Ronin as well that just dropped today. So I was going to say, if we want, we could just try to give our quick impressions on how we're feeling at first glance with these models. So we'll start with Ronin. He just came out.
I need to look at his card again.
Okay. So Ronin's he's pretty interesting. Like, he feels like a combination of like Hawkeye and Blade in some ways. So
I was going to say he kind of looks like a Logan a little bit.
Oh yeah, actually Logan would be a very good comparison for him. So keeps a grappling hook, which I really, really like. So that means that he's still a Hawkeye. He has medium move, medium base. with a grappling hook, so that means he can rotate around the board like pretty well, get to different like enemies that he wants to. He's got blades, throwing glaives, essentially, right? So he's got it's a gainer, range 4 dice physical. He gets a pursuit and a bleed on these triggers, exactly like blades. So it lets him like move around like a bit. You can like attack and maybe hit somebody.
I like him a lot. I like his card. He would be good in thralls.
He should be good in thralls, yeah.
Yeah.
He does a lot of incidental bleeding from either his builder, right? That's essentially the it's a Logan builder or a Sabretooth builder. Yeah, it's a Sabretooth builder, right?
Yeah. And then he has the rerolled mechanics. I mean, I don't think there's anything like flashy, but I think he's just a solid character. He has stealth, he has martial artists, so range 2, he won't go down as easily. And he can't be attacked outside of range 3, which is good. And then I like his spender a lot. I do think it's a little overcosted at 4 power. Maybe it should have been 3. But the Pierce is nice, and the 6 dice beam 3 is nice.
I think it's because you get that teleport right afterwards. So, like, if you hit somebody from range 3 away, you still get the place within 1 of the last target you hit.
I'm only saying that because I'm pretty sure Logan's is the same, but 7 dice.
Well,
yeah, Logan's is the same, but 7 dice. And Logan,
and he possibly gets rerolls.
Yeah, and Logan can possibly get rerolls on all of that. That's the only reason why I'm saying that.
Yep.
Where he has to spend for the rerolls, and also Logan's has a bleed on his, and he doesn't. But he doesn't do the exact same that Logan does.
Yeah, that's true. I guess in the sense that like Logan's like he does need to have a good spacing to make sure he gets his rerolls. Whereas hey, as long as this version of Clint is able to pay 2 power, he just gets those rerolls, right?
Yep.
Which is nice.
He'll be good under Steve. I mean, move, grappling hook, 5 dice to somebody round 1, or not in a power affiliation. You could just move and then do the range 4 gainer to get the advance, or then place after. So I like him. I think he's solid.
Yeah. He's also really good in Steve 3, I think, because a wild trigger just gives him so much, like in his attacks,
Oh, that is so true. You get the Pierce. But it's like 3 power. You got to spend for the leadership and then spend for the Spectre of Death. But I mean, if you have the power, then yeah, I can say that.
Yeah, I mean, like you can like you could do a spender, right, or you can do a builder, right, with like added like spiffy stuff, and I think that might be worth it for him, right, to do. He's also a defender, so I think he actually works well with Daredevil, and both Daredevil and Strange.
I think he works a little bit better with Daredevil, and then the 3-threat Hawkeye works really good with Strange.
I think so, yeah. So it's nice because listen, you're gonna want to play the professionals, right? So like let's have Daredevil be able to play that.
Yeah.
Yeah. My locals and I were discussing because I forgot that the professionals is active like for the whole round.
Mm-hmm.
So we're thinking of like some like crazy dream scenarios where there's like viruses and like hammers that are just near Natasha, and like you just like attack everybody with Clint because he's got the beams. He's also got a card that lets him get rapid fire, or flurries or whatever like on his attacks, right? So you could potentially like hit like multiple people like that are holding stuff. And if some of Natasha's like within range of like all of them, you can just like drop the stuff to him. Obviously pie in the sky, super magic Christmas land stuff, but it was just a fun thought exercise to see like what could happen,
Do you think you would ever take his Tactus card? The one that comes
yeah, that's the thing. Like I feel like extra attacks and they're not guaranteed extra attacks too, right? You still need the triggers. So like that's where I think like Steve 3 is like the guy, right? You want for that card. But if you can't really have a lot of dice rerolls offensively, then I don't know if that card's like necessarily worth it, right?
Yeah, it's nice, like it's cute, but like it would be nice to like try out, but I don't think it's all that crazy. But I see what you're saying is Steve 3.
Yeah, I think if you can find places where like you can really fix the die like on that, then I think that becomes much more interesting. But until then, yeah, you're at the mercy of like rolling a wild, right? Which is like can be rough sometimes. But he's still a 4-threat like beat stick and like be solid. Like I There's no notes. Like, he doesn't have any control, but that's okay. Like, I think, once he has like 4 power, he can probably just start like blending people like pretty easily.
No, I like him a lot.
Yeah.
You want to do
let's see. Let's move on.
You want to do Noir next?
Yeah. What do you got for Noir?
Or, I mean, I don't think we really have to talk about Spider-Ham because he's been spoiled for a while.
Spider-Ham is good. Yeah. He's the only 2-threat with displacement. He's a size 1. You can hide him behind cars and throw pies at people. But his triggers are on his gainer are like legitimately like insane.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
If you think about it, like you have sizeless, only one die facing needed to get either a stun or a slow or you automatically stun someone, and then if you get 2 more hits, you just push them away. Push them any direction.
This is what's great about these 3 characters, or this whole box. Webb's best card, no debate really, is all webbed up. And to play all webbed up, you give them slow and you get the extra dice. And outside of ASM's leadership, you have no form of giving people slow. Unless you do splashes like Iceman. I remember there's like one game I played with ASM and I was using his leadership and everyone had slow because I've been doing it, but it took so much to set up. But on each of these 3 characters, somewhere on their card, they give slow. So they're just actively avoiding, I guess all webbed up at this point, and AMG's like, whatever. That card's going to get even more dumb because if you all webbed up them and then someone removes it, you could just reapply it with one of these characters. That's my big takeaway from these 3 characters is that they all give slow, which is really good.
Would you say that the slows are just more sticky now?
Yeah, essentially,
Excellent.
yeah. It's going to be harder to get rid of them, and that all webbed up turn is going to be a lot easier to get.
Yeah, and tertiary related to that is also that because ASM, wants to cash out slows for displacements, like that leadership becomes a lot more interesting with these new characters, right? Mm-hmm. Because of the ability to reapply slows or apply slows from the rip. It's like, okay, like if I need to place you 1 to get you off an objective, like we can absolutely do that now. Yeah. No problem.
But no, it's all good. I guess Noir. If you want to go first, what's your takeaway from Spider-Man Noir?
So I was watching a couple games of Curtis is playing Webbs, and he was using Luke Cage a lot to sort of like be that sort of like center grab, right? Because he's just so tanky between like the damage reduction, right, and like his like slightly overstated like health and physical defense on his front side. Mm-hmm. I was thinking that Noir got to do the same. Like we don't get the heroes for hire, but otherwise though, like very similar, right? You have a character that has a lot of rerolls. He's got like a payable damage reduction, so that to me means that he wants to grab an extract, right? And that's going to force people to interact with him, and hopefully he's not taking any or very little damage. He's just wasting their action points, right?
Yep. I think he goes into the list. Like the damage reduction is really good. That means on Certain Crisis, like Deadline, Mayor Fisk, Meteors, where he can damage reduction on the Crisis comes really in handy. There's also another one, I forgot which one. I'm drawing a blank that I thought of. But he's basically a 3-threat version of Bill. He's more tanky than Bill, essentially, because he has the Spider Sense. And even though he doesn't have any control, he makes up with that in his attacks and his tankiness. Is he going to be like the best model on like a D map? Out of Webbs, probably not, but he is going to be good in a brawl on the close quarter maps.
Yeah, so when you do get like an intrusions, a deadline to destruction, like things that are like much more compact, like I think like he becomes much more interesting.
Yep.
Speaking of which, I think that also like lends the fact that he wants a compact map because he's got that tactics card, right? The Spider Sleuth.
Oh yeah, I want to talk about that. So before we recorded, I measured it out. I think where this card will be good. Well, okay, let me read the card first. So during the first power phase, an allied Spider-Noir may play this card. When this card is played, set it near the battlefield. The first text is gathering evidence. If this card has been played when an enemy character within 3 of an allied non-daze, Spider Noir interacts with an objective token, you put 1 evidence token on this card. The next line of text is asking questions. If this card has been played when an allied Noir dazes or KOs an enemy character, put 1 confession token on it. And then the last thing is crack the case. During any cleanup phase, if this card has been played and if Spider-Man Noir is not dazed or KO'd, you may remove 3 evidence tokens and 1 confidence token, and if you do, score 2 VPs. Webs now have a VP card. That is really good. Yep. What I first thought of this would be good on is Senators. So I measured it out before we recorded because I knew we were going to be talking about it. Depending on what you put Noir, if you take the person's home Senator, and depending on how you place him, if you place him more in the middle of that Senator, he can cover all the other 5 Senators. So it makes the ability to get the evidence token a lot easier. So that's probably going to be the hardest thing about this card to pull it off is the evidence token, I think, versus the confession token. Because you have multiple chances throughout the game to get the confession token. But when it comes to the evidence token, it doesn't always work on every crisis. It works on all the extracts, but it doesn't work on like Infinity Formula, Scoundrels, these crises that don't have any interactions. So like a dream scenario is if you're playing like Senators and maybe like Meteors or, like some Play to Flip or like even MCROM. Like Senators and MCROM will be a good scenario where he can get this card off a lot easier. So it can give you a 2 extra VP swing.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. So yeah, beta flips is basically where we're going to see them. And also, I think, did you say Deadline Destruction as well?
Yeah, Deadline to Destruction would be good too.
Yeah. And even as a deterrence, right? So he's doubly good on that because he can ignore the damage, right? Mm-hmm. To make him, even if they try to make him drop it. But also because, if you interact with the deadline points, you possibly are giving him those evidence tokens, right? That he needs to eventually cash out.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, no. This is mainly a scoring team, right? Maybe there'll be more mid-range builds once the other spiders are revealed. But Noir absolutely fits into the current wide web warriors plan of scoring fast, and this is just an accelerant to the scoring, which is really really nice. Yeah. And I don't think it's it's not that crazy to pull this off if you get the right combination of scenarios, right? So yeah, pay to flips, the type maps that have good interacts. Or Senators, and I think Senators is the premier extract to have this kind of be really, really good.
Also, his damage output can be really crazy on certain turns. So his spender is a beam for 5 dice, 3 power, and then after attack resolved, if the defender goes dealt damage, you get slow and shocked. 1, giving out shock, Spider Him and him giving out shock is really good. It just ups your tankiness of web warriors. You don't like taking attacks, so the less defensive dice that you get, the less attack dice your opponent gets, the better for you. But also, if you think about it, because all of them can apply slow, if you all webbed up and say you're hitting 3 models at beam 4, it's 7 dice into all of them. And if you do damage, you give out shock. And then after that, you can do his the 1/2 builder, which is, it reads, if this character has already attacked the defender during its activation this turn, add 3 dice. It doesn't say it has to be the 1/2. It's if he just made an attack. So if he did a beam attack into somebody and then did the builder, you add 3 dice plus the 2 from all webbed up. So it's 9 dice. At that point, you can probably get 2 power to throw size 2 terrain. He can have some serious damage output with all webbed up and webs.
Yeah, for sure. And even on the normal turns too. Yeah, just 4 die, 7 die, and possibly a terrain throw, right? That's 3 sources of damage coming into somebody. That can daze most of the similar tier models as far as threat level goes.
Yeah, he's solid. Yeah. I mean, the biggest problem is if he gets displaced, but other than that, he is pretty good. I mean, I know he has no form of displacement. He has no action economy, getting back onto the points or anything like that outside of his elusive, which is hard to hit on 4 dice, 3 dice. 7 dice, not as much. So don't count on it. But he is tanky and he hits like a truck. So, or can, the dice go well, you can hit like a truck. So I like him a lot.
Yeah, I think more than anything else, he's just very, very tanky, right? So as long as he's holding an extract, I think he's doing an okay job, in the interim.
Yep. For people that complain about my Miles being tanky, I mean, you just got a worse Miles. Same thing, but
Man,
the DR
yeah.
to 0. That's just worse.
Yep. The other funny thing too is that if you have the Inhuman Weapon or the Montesi book, right, you could absolutely do that as your first attack, and then your the 1/2 will still be able to get that 7 dice, added.
Yep. Yeah. No, he's solid.
So
Like him a lot.
no, solid. Yep.
Okay. Now on to.
Oh, one more thing.
Yeah, go.
Just to clarify, this Peter Parker is Peter Parker Earth 90214, which is a different alias than the other Peter Parkers. So you can be played with the current Peter Parkers, Spectacular, Amazing, or, Core Box Peter. Just as in case people were wondering about that. So the aliases are different, so you can run them together.
Oh, that is true. Okay, let's move on to Silk, the model I was least excited about in this box, and now I'm the most excited about in this box.
I was really hoping that she would change the game in a way, and I think she's definitely a big archetypal swing for Web Warriors for sure.
She definitely needs a lot of play testing, but she definitely is solid. So I guess let's go over. I'll go over her defensive stuff first. So Silk or Cindy Moon, she's 4 physical, 3 energy, 3 mystic. She's 6 health. She's a 4 threat, long mover, size 2. First thing that I notice is Silk Sense. So at the bottom of a card, when this character is defending against an attack or making a dodge roll, it may reroll up to 2 of its defensive dodge dice, including skull results. As you know, this doesn't say limited to physical and energy, and also it includes skull results, so you don't need Miles' leadership to reroll the skulls. That is really good for ASM's leadership. What I immediately thought of about this is, okay, she's the 4th threat that's going to go and grab a back F. Go and take my opponent's extract. Because if it's under Miles, you're rerolling 2, then rerolling 1. I mean, you can already reroll the skulls at that point. But that is just really good, especially because you don't need to use Miles' leadership to reroll those skulls. So you can be using ASM's leadership and still reroll the skulls.
Yeah, so it makes the opportunity cost of not taking Miles, right, and instead taking ASM, it feels less bad, right? Mm-hmm. Because unlocking skulls was one of the best parts of Miles' leadership.
Yep.
So it's nice that they're sort of compensating for that. It's like we think this is an ASM model. We really want you to not have it feels bad, right, for taking this model under ASM versus Miles, right?
Next thing is Web of Bride. I'm gonna, I guess we can do the attacks last, but to go over this, Web of Bride, when an enemy character with a slow special condition ends a movement within 3, this character gets 1 power, and then her attacks give out slow. So that is really good.
It should be clarified that the Web of the Bride is any movement, right? Yes. So they could voluntarily move within 3, but they also can be involuntarily moved into 3, right? From pushes, throws, advances, anything.
Intrusions, if they have or anything like that.
Yep. Intrusions, cosmic invasion portals, like any number of things, right? That move a model into within 3 of Cindy. If they have the slow condition, she still gets the power. So that could be a lot of things, right?
Yeah. Do you want to do your attacks first?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So I'm glad you went through the passives first because they give you more context for the attacks.
Yeah, that's why I kind of did it in that way, because I think with the passives there is one superpower, but we'll do that last because that will lead into the attacks. But going over the passives first, then it makes sense once we go over the attacks.
Okay. The first attack I want to go over is actually the second attack listed as Spinnerets.
That's my favorite. This is my favorite one.
Yeah, so they gave her a Beam 3 5 dice attack, right? That's a gainer, so awesome. All right, So you can get multiple people in a row, get the power very consistently, and this one triggers a slow on a wild. So on 5 dice, 1 wild is probably roughly a coin flip, I want to say, to get that.
Yeah, that's just like I said, they're just ignoring the part of webs that I've experienced where it's I have all webbed up, but it's I'm only going to be able to attack 1 or 2 models and get this thing on. But now, when your opponent's playing against you, they can kind of predict the all webbed up scenario where now it's when everyone is slowed because of these models and you all webbed up. It's the opportunity cost just goes up way more. Because
go ahead.
I was gonna say because all webbed up, it's not if it's applied from the card if they get slow. It's just if they already have slow, you add 2 dice. So you can like all web up with Miles on the left side of the board and give it to like one character, and then 2 characters on the right side of the board that Silk already gave all slow to. She gets the aspects of the cards.
It's pretty sweet. Yeah, and then you can start. And Beam's also like maybe I was thinking about like Mass Menace as well.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a gainer, and then if you have like Mass Menace up, like she could be getting even more power. So already just from this first attack, I'm just like there's a good chance that Cindy could just be swimming in power if you can set certain things up right between like the Web of the Bride passive and then also this gainer. Then this ties into the builder she has, Spider Strike. So range 3, 5 dice, 0 cost. It's a builder, so your power scales to the amount of damage dealt. But it's got an any direction push on a wild up for a character that's size 2 or less. So while it's not everybody, that's still like most of the people in this game, right? That you can push in any direction.
Yeah, it's about like it's like 60% of the characters in the game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
also, there's no direction on the push.
Yeah. Yep. So that's the thing I want to highlight as well. Yeah, it's an omnidirectional push, so it's super versatile. So you can use it to like get this person within 3 to get your power gain if they're already slowed, or you can push them away so that they can't attack you, right?
Yep.
Like later on. Finally, do you want to talk about the spectacular spinning Jenny?
Yes. So this is a spender. It is 5 costs. A little pricey, but as we said, with the Web of the Bride, every time someone ends a movement with slow, she gets power, so she kind of can refund this. So it's 5 power, 7 dice, area 2. So she has a beam, and she has an area spender. That's just really good. First thing is after each attack is resolved, the defender is pushed towards his character S. The reason why this is really relevant, there is no size restriction on this. So this Spider Woman can push Dormammu for some reason, which I never understand why that's a thing. And then after that is after all attacks rendered by this character have been resolved, place this character within 3 of herself. So she is pushing people towards her, and then she's ducking out of there. Really good offensively and defensively for that matter. Like I said, you pair this with all webbed up, this becomes an area 2 9 dice attack. Yep. And now I'm just thinking, imagine her with a hammer that just becomes a 10 dice. Really, really solid. What do you think of the attack?
It's insane because like you said, if this under an all webbed up turn or just a turn where she's just like doing the area 2 against a bunch of things that already have slow, like sure it costs 5, but if you displace like 2 people like towards her, like that means that she's going to get like 2 power back. So net cost is like what 3 or 2?
Yep.
Like depending on like how many people you push in.
She basically can fund this herself with the spender. If magically you're hitting 5 people, which the chances of that happening are slim, but if it is and you hit all 5 and they all have slow because you all webbed up, you're hitting them all with 9 dice, pushing them all towards you, and she's getting her power back, which she then can just do it again. It is ridiculous.
You even might be at a surplus too. It's under Mass Menace too, right?
Yes.
So the Mass Menace all webbed up turn, like she could be getting a ton of power. Like she could be like getting a surplus of power, right, for doing this attack.
Yes. I think this all ties into. Should we go over her one and only reactive superpower?
Oh man, yeah, this is kind of pulls everything together.
Yeah, this is what pulls everything together.
No pun intended, but now it's intended.
Yeah. Do you want to read it or you want me to read it?
You go ahead, Mike.
All right. You can tell how excited I am for this box.
Hell yeah, dude. It's really cool.
I'm so disappointed they're not going to be out by the fall sheet.
I know.
Okay. Caught in the web. 2 power. When an enemy character ends a movement within 3 of this character may use this superpower. Roll 4 dice. The enemy character suffers 1 wound for each crit and wild in the results. Then if this superpower dealt 1 or more damage, this character advances S. So she has tricks and traps. Why does this all get tied in together? Because if you tie everything together with all webbed up and Max Menace and you do her spender, you're moving everyone towards you, and then you can just do caught in the web to everybody you've done. And because you're doing it to everybody, you're also getting an extra power because of Web of the Bride, because they're slowed. It is absurd. The high potential of damage she can do is a lot.
Yeah, she becomes this little like area bomb of sorts, right? For having slows applied to you. So she's encouraged people to get slowed, and once you're slowed, like you're just like potentially just moving people in to do just a ton of damage, and while she's refunding it, so she can just keep doing this over and over again. She has the soak sense, right, to sort of like give her a little bit more tankiness, right? So it's kind of harder to put her down than a normal spider like character.
What I immediately think of is what you can do. Let's say like you only have like 5 power and you can't refund it really. Like you can do an area 2 into like two or three characters to spend her, and because you're pushing them towards her, you can push them in a way where after she places herself, she could then do the beam into all of them.
Yes, absolutely.
So you can
because that range 3 place, right? Like you can really adjust like where you need her to be.
And also because once you move them, you can do caught in the web. You can also get more advanced movement out of that. So you can get everyone around you, do the area, do caught in the web, giving them damage, and then after that you can place. So then if you don't have enough power to do the spender again, the spinning Jenny, you can do the fingertip beam attack and do a beam into 2 or 3 characters again. Another 5 dice, giving out slow and more power. So I think that's what you want to do most times with her, is you want to do as much beams as possible, unless you need to get the push on the builder, and spend your monies on the spender because it is awesome.
Yep. Conversely, I also see plays where like maybe you just want to do one spectacular spinning Jenny, right? To sort of like pull an entire area of people like to one side of the board, and then she can trigger at least one caught in the web to move like S like away, and then she can still do the place 3 afterwards, and you still have like an action left over for a long move.
Yeah, she can get away with doing an attack if you are on, let's say, I measured it out too. Let's say you're on the inner side of a riot. She can easily just do a spinning Jenny, then do caught in the web to place to advance S, then afterwards you place yourself 3, and then you long move to the other of the riots. You could just be on the completely other side of the D map. If she's in a situation where she's about to go down and you have her activation, you need to get her out. And if you have enough power, instead of just double long moving away, which I do with a lot of the characters, you can do the spinning Jenny, advance S off after caught in the web, and then place, and then long move away and get out of there. And then keep in mind at that point, those characters should be slowed, so they can't really catch up to you. The high ceiling of her is crazy. I think she just replaces Spider-Woman, to be honest, like completely. Like if you want an affiliated 4th threat, that's like they're not like totally similar, but like they kind of like fill the same role in a way.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like Spider-Woman has like very good, interesting debuffs, right? Like having shock and stuns like before damage is dealt is like really interesting, right? That she can do.
Yeah.
And like she's got the miles drop and everything. I think it's right now just because like Shang is still like the dude, right? And Voodoo is still like a thing. Her defenses are like they feel kind of rough in this current like meta of like what is popular.
Yeah.
So, but there could definitely be a future where Spider-Woman comes back. But in the interim, though, I think Silk definitely asks a lot of new questions, right, for Web Warrior opponents that they have to sort of deal with now.
This is the first 4th thread that they released for webs that I actually feel might finally make my list, like my full on just like webs competitive list. I can't wait. I'm gonna start. I'm not gonna test her yet. I'm gonna wait until they reveal like the other box, and then I'm gonna start. But I can't wait to start playing her. All these characters, it's all great.
Yeah, I definitely am most excited about Cindy because I think she just has a lot of like, there's a lot of reps I think you need to get with her to like figure out like what you want to do with her, because I'm not even sure if diving with her is like really the thing you want to do necessarily. Like it's not
the thing you need to do. It's something that you can do though, and she's probably not. She's probably not gonna die. She can dive, like I said, she could dive a back F, take some chip damage, and then duck out of there. And then keep in mind too, if she dives with, it's kind of like how like I think about Miguel. If she dives a back F, and you do like 2 damage with her, with somebody, and then somebody moves to get in range with her range 3 of her to attack her, she can just do caught in the web, and then if she does damage, just advance S away.
That's true. Yeah, Mysterio pattern is definitely like a really annoying thing to sort of deal with, right?
Yeah. It's like Miguel. Like this is why I love Miguel so much in his defensive tech. It's because I'm paying 3. Yes, it's kind of expensive, but he refunds it by the crits. That it's like I'm re-rolling everything, but after this, I get a mini fallback of placing myself 2 away. That is great.
Yeah, the fact that it's a range 2 bump, like that you have like on a stick, like it's...
and you can use it offensively or defensively. Oh, you're hitting me? Well, now I'm going to place back behind this building, so now you can't see me to double tap me, and then I'm just gonna heal myself after.
Yeah, or it's like the last attack, and I know it's not going to kill me, right? So like I'm going to then aggressively go into you, so I can do two
builders,
6-die builders into you, right?
And healing 2 with period. Yeah, no. So that is something what I'm thinking of. And she's great offensively and defensively. She can dive the back Fs, which I like my affiliated models being able to do. I do it with Cat a lot. I do it with ASM. Having a 4th threat basically be able to do that is great, but then also her damage output can be absurd. I think the fact that just she has a beam 3 is great, and giving out slow is awesome. Yeah, you can tell. Yeah. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, this is a character that is made me think about running ASM more and also putting Mass Menace back in the list. So from that alone, I'm just like, it's like, well done, AMG. Like I am. You have my interest and my attention.
I guess the last thing is you want to go over her card.
Oh yeah, so yeah, the bride. What was it?
Spider Totem, the bride.
Yes. Okay.
All right. So during the power phase, Silk may spend 2 power to play this. Until the next cleanup phase, when Silk targets an enemy character with an attack, she may change the attack type to Mystic. Once this round before the cleanup phase, when this character or another allied character is attacking or defending during the modified dice step, that character may reroll all of its attack or defensive dice.
Okay, so it's a reroll all, so you have to commit to everything. So it's not like pick and choose. Like it's like okay, it's all or nothing basically.
I don't think I'm I saw people like on Discord raving about this card. I don't think I'm that big of a fan, to be honest. Like it's okay. If it was reroll any, I'll be higher on it. But the fact that it's reroll all, is what kind of. I'd rather just have recal at that point. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I guess it's because this is a 2-parter, right? The fact that Silk gets, the spinning Jenny and everything, like all of her attacks just become like potentially Mystic, and that could be a big deal depending on like which list you're going into, right? So if you're going into another like wide webs list that doesn't have like a lot of like Silk style models, rather than the more traditional like Miles Spider Sense rerolls, that could be a big deal to turn this into a Mystic instead. And like the reroll all, like I've had enough recal games where just like, you know what, recal, even half a recal sometimes is enough to be kind of worth it. But I think at this point, because of how strong like all webbed up the restricted cards are, and probably Spider Tracker is still, so I mean we'll probably need to see the other cards as well. And Mass Menace now also being like highly contested as like a thing you want to take.
Yeah, as
like it is hard to fit this in, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Like as of right now, it's like the cards I'm looking to take typically in every game is Brace, Fallback, all webbed up, Spider Tracker, and Max. As of right now, Max Menace. But then you have your character cards, and then you have like Recal. So we'll see how it falls. What did you say?
Oh, Spider Sleuth as well. Like I'm really interested in taking Spider Sleuth too, as in certain matchups too.
Yeah, no, I think that card is going to be really good. I like Noir's card more than Silk's card, but I don't think Silk's card is bad. It's just hard to fit in your 10, considering the fact we haven't even seen the other cards in the other box. Like we don't know totally yet. That's also why I'm like, I don't know if I want to test with this card yet until I see the other tactics cards. You know what I mean? Like I want to see the full picture to see what I really want to try. I know Spider Noir's card. I'm definitely gonna try. That card looks fun.
Yeah, any VP accelerant that isn't like you're kind of, when you're doing that VP acceleration card, you're already kind of doing the thing that you want to do, like in those matchups that you would take it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you want to see people like, play in type matchups you interact. You also want to still daze a model and stuff like that. So you're not going out of your way to do something different than what you would be doing. But yeah, Spider Totem the Bride, I think, is not a bad card. I think it's just like because you're comparing it to the other Web Warrior cards, right? That's where it gets like kind of but it is unaffiliated, so we should say that first off. Both actually, the Spider Sleuth and the Spider Totem, both of these are unaffiliated cards. So, like, depending on what team you can, like, say you take them in like a Thrall's list or something, right? You're going to have more card slots available. Yeah, I think.
No, 100%.
Yeah, we should also be remiss that Spider Ham also has his own card as well, which is also fun flavor. But
I forgot about that. I forgot he has a card.
Yeah, so the problem with the Cotton Ham, just innately, is the fact that it takes up a Tactics card slot. Ham needs to spend 2 power for it, and unfortunately, I don't think Ham is ever going to have the 2 power that he wants to spend for this card because he wants the power to do other stuff,
Mm-hmm.
But it's a very good, what was it, level of Misfits kind of effect, right? You just roll like a dice per enemy within 3, and they'll just get a random effects, right?
They each get a condition.
Yep, it's either on the a shock, a stun, a slow. They can lose power on a skull failure. The opposing player will get to place Ham within 2 of his current position.
It's a it's a kitchen table card. Like yeah. I guess the last thing I want to talk about is outside of webs. Each of these models, where else would you want to try them?
So I think a lot of my locals were very excited to take Noir in the Kingpin list, actually.
I heard a lot about that online.
Yeah, so it's like, yep, that guy is definitely going to be really annoying on a Kingpin list.
Yeah. I think, for me, I would want to try Silk in Goblin Trap House.
Yeah, that's right, yeah, because I had some locals that they were taking Ben Riley for a while, Scarlet Spider, just because he can trigger a lot of different movements to trigger some traps. Mm-hmm. But Silk can do that and also have her own set of traps as well, right? So that becomes a double thing.
It's also because Silk's thing is not her caught in the web is not once per turn. I don't believe Mysterio's is either, and I don't think Electro's is either. So
nope. Yeah, you can trigger them multiple times.
Yeah, you can have her spender just go off, and then you move somebody, and all 3 of them do their tricks and traps into the person if you don't get them. Yeah. Seems really good.
Yeah, if you're like a 5 health model, you are probably in pretty decent danger of being dazed by 3 traps going off.
Also, it gives she's also a long mover, which helps out foes because it don't have any long movers. But I would want to try her there, and giving her the innate reroll from Goblin is pretty good to get through the damage. That's where I would want to try her.
Yeah, though I will say not bad in Doc Ock, right? Because she'll get the extra power, so that means it's going to feel her reactive power more often, and it also will get rid of any slows that happen to her.
Yep, I agree. As for Noir, you say Kingpin. That's what I was thinking for him. What about Spider Ham?
Oh man, I think so hot take. I think Spider Ham is going to slowly or very quickly become a lot of people's premier 2 threat, because it's the 2 threat that can just displace people. And there really isn't a lot of characters that do that. I think specifically I'm thinking about Steve 1 and also in Inhumans, any sort of the discount or the power leaderships, that can pass him that power. I think it's going to be really big because then he can start doing the web pool, the 50-50 web pool, off the rip.
Yeah. No, I like it. I think he's great. I mean, he's definitely tanky. I know people were online are saying, oh, he drops his extracts when he takes damage. Just don't pick up an extract with him unless you have to. At the beginning of the game, don't have him pick up an extract. He's good to either A, go to a point, or B, stun on your back point and throw pies at people. And then if you need to late in the game, he can pick up an extract. Just don't pick up an extract with him. And don't do the mistake that I did. I one time picked up a cube with him. That was not smart.
I mean, Cube Ham is he's here for a good time, not for a long time.
Yeah, definitely.
But it does give him that power, right? Because he is lacking in power generation. So like the fact is you can do a displacement or two, right? Like before he goes down might be like interesting.
I will say I'm like thinking of places not to play him against. I don't think I would want to play him against Thralls of Dracula. Because giving out the bleed constantly, then if he has to pick up an extract, he most likely has bleed already. So I don't know how I would feel about that.
Yeah, obviously Namor just kind of eats his lunch like pretty badly. I think.
Yeah, but he seems really good. Definitely because you park him behind something or on top of a piece of terrain. He's 2, rerolling 2, modifying 1 to cover, and then damage reduction. So he's really tanky.
Yep, I can also see him like small funny thing would be just be annoying with him next to Yondu. Just like, okay, you have to attack him first, and then he's going to live, and then I'm going to give the extract to the Yondu.
Yeah.
So now you have like more health that you have to chew through right before you get this extract off of somebody.
I like that.
So that could be fun.
Any clothing thoughts, Jen, on the webs?
Just very excited. Like I said, I'm interested to see new archetypes of webs. So like if we get back some actual like more substantial ASM builds, I think that would be a good progress for the faction just to make it more interesting. So you're not just seeing the wide scoring miles like team all the time, right?
Yeah. No, definitely. I'm definitely excited to try ASM leadership more.
Yep. I also curious to see what the other remaining models are, because that's still need to see what new Miles does. We still need to see the backside of 2099. We have no idea what Prowler does. We do know that he's not a web warrior, unfortunately. But I'm curious to see what he brings to CS and foes as well.
They put him in Criminals?
Yes. Right, yep. The affiliation document came out, so they put him in.
I didn't see that.
Surprise, yeah. And all the web warriors are just webs. There's no separate Spider-Verse faction as far as that.
I kind of figured. Yeah, I kind of figured that they all still be webs. The past month I've been playing with Miguel and Spider-Man. I've just been playing them as like affiliated models.
Yep. No, that makes a ton of sense there. So yeah, I'm looking forward because they're willing to break the mode, right? Like we said this a couple times. Like they were so afraid to print characters with slows within Web Warriors faction. So now that they're like, it's like, yep, nope, that limiter is just off, right?
Yeah,
so
literally all 3 of them give out slow, and then we haven't seen new Miles this card, so who knows, he could give out slow too.
Yeah, Miguel is, I think, the one new spider that we've seen so far that doesn't give out slow. I think he just gives out the the shock stun.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, but he beats the crap out of people.
That's true. That's true. He will just
daze you. His spender is really good. I love his spender.
Yep.
It's
29
awesome.
Sends regards is such a good name for a spender.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's a wild size 4 throw before damage is dealt, and you get poison and stun before damage is dealt. That is good. Like, not only am I throwing you, but you're only getting 1 power from this, so I do a crap ton of damage. And then I place myself within 1. That is a good spender.
I like it.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's it, really. Right? Is there anything else?
No, I think that's it. We'll just close it out then. So we've been Alive on One. You can find us on Facebook, Discord. You can email us at aliveon1@gmail.com. Feel free to also check me out on RSMP Tabletop. We are still waiting for Josh to come back from various work trips and vacations, so we'll start pumping out some Marvel content hopefully in October. So look forward to that. If you can please leave a review on Apple or Spotify, wherever you listen to this podcast, that'd be greatly appreciated. It does help out the algorithm a lot. Please check out our affiliate links below. And thank you again, Mike, for coming with me on this trip. We always meander. I think it's going to be a short cast, and then it's like 2 hours later.
Yeah,
so we're still talking about stuff.
I thought we were only going to be like an hour, and then here we are 2 hours in.
I lied.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, Godspeed, Silk. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.